Hello and welcome to another modelling video. This is Alan from the Mr Man at YouTube with another model video. Today doing a second update on the Mr Color Lascivus range. Originally we had a few different updates to the anime flesh tone for garage kits and other figurative models. What I did not expect was the range to be further expanded with more clears, focusing on hair color, clothing color, a lot of pastels, and very excitingly clear white. We'll be doing the usual tests in part 2, mostly covering pigment density use on spoons, as well as a test 3D printed smaller scale garage figure. First color is CL102 Copper Brown, depicting a tan chocolate flesh effect for darker skin toned anime characters. Very few artists have mixed their own and done garage kits or blended existing colors. This will give many garage kit modelers the confidence to attempt these tones in conjunction with the clear orange and clear red. My attempt will be on a 3D printed Sailor Girl in 1/12 scale. The frame arm girls community will also be all over it. Cut with lacquer thinner 50%, applied for a 0.3mm airbrush and tested for pigment density, which from the white to the black, 3 coats pretty much makes it that an undercoat intensity is not that important. Testing it on the flesh of a figure itself, I'm blending it with the standard Mr Color tan and clear orange to get enough tone in the small face and foot to pretty much tell a bit of a story. It's very easy, very smooth to apply. Love the quality of the pigment. It was quite enjoyable to use, as the same experience was extended from the other flesh tones in the original review. I highly encourage to use the other clears in conjunction for shading and be a bit experimental with swapping tones of brown, some of the sandy military colors, and lightening it all up with flesh tones to get the desirable complexion of the character you're attempting to do. The tan color by Gaia Notes for the frame arm girls can also be blended in this mix. Set number 2, 101 Blonde, a hair highlight color. Same pigment consistency, a solid color. The pastel tone does really excite me. There are other very soft red blues for other anime traditional character. Blonde is more common and a natural color I'm likely to see in other figure applications. And normally when attempting hair colors, I'll either manipulate a straight yellow or go into some of the sandy military colors. With this project, I've picked up sand brown and undercoated all the hair follicles and pieces with that, followed by a secondary tone of this blonde color. You can use more tones for tips, highlights, and any sort of combination to get closer to other characters' schemes. Again, very smooth to apply. I cut it down quite a bit with lacquer thinner and had no problems such as dusting or spitting from the airbrush. Very easy and quite pleasurable to use. Also noticeable on the spoon test, pigment density is quite tight and you don't see too much interruption from the black shade all the way to the white shade undercoat. Now for the color, I was super excited to test CL101 Clear White. Particularly awesome for shading anything and the exact counter to clear black, which I've been shadowing and utilizing a lot over the past several years. Much like the clear fleshes, it is very watery consistency and extremely subtle in its application and layering. You could pretty much do 2 coats and no more until it dries or putties up Otherwise, at a high pressure and too many coats, it is going to fisheye a lot like in this example. With the figure of the sailor girl I initially shaded her with greys and liquid black to make it far too drab and colorless, and would lighten up the whole effect with this clear white by giving it an overall coat. The initial sheen and finish comes across a lot like a pearlescent without the metallic pigment, and gives all harder edges, colors or shades a milky softness, almost going through a filter or a light color filter. Application only really requires a soft or lower PSI, and you just gently dust it on, not really coloring in, of course, as build-up is overly far too tricky. With the review of all the three colors, I dropped a ball bearing instead of stirring to shake up the pigment equally. But I like the application of shading, shadowing, mixing colors, and the use of clears for non-metallic candy coats. This is definitely a paint to pick up, experiment, and use on your own from your point of view and advantages. I have so far seen garage kit modelers doing anime schemes or very soft pastel-y schemed models and dioramas, and using it to add more color saturation or lighten up certain things that they're just not initially happy with. It is a product that's going to stay in my collection and used in all sorts of application, even in drabber subjects such as military and gunpla. Very useful tool to have at your disposal. Highly recommended. This concludes the review on the more colors that have come out, and I'm sure even more will be useful for other clothing tones, props, or whatever. I'll be utilizing them in different builds and models, but unless something major breakthrough comes in this line, I'm going to cut the review at part 2. Thank you very much for watching. As always, until next time, stay tuned for further content. Happy to answer questions in the comments below, as well as willing to share the social media links for more progresses, pictures, and content. Catch you guys later. See you next time.